greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Yes, hello. You are tuned into a celebrity edition to the Red Pill Hardcore TV show. Yes, I'm your host V, and you're going to be seeing a string of these celebrity interviews. Why? Because there are actual celebrities out there that are doing something for the world, or at least have a story that they can tell the world. Experience is everything. We have people that go through life, go through hell, and their stories are not told, or they've, have all these celebrities who are doing these horrendous things in Hollywood and part of secret societies, and don't do anything but drain your money at the box office, and can make you continue to be a slave, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So today I have with us Ian Jacklin. Now, Ian, I want you to toot your own horn, because when it comes out of my mouth, it doesn't really do justice. I like for my guests to go through their own credits. It doesn't do justice for it coming out of my mouth. But
right.
Please tell people your action movies, your work with cancer, everything you've done up until this.
Yeah, okay. In a nutshell, just to catch folks up that haven't heard of me before, I kind of started in martial arts. I was a kickboxing champion, Canadian and North American, #2 in the world. I ended up fighting Javier Mendez for the world championship, who today trains Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier and Luke Rockhold, and a number of the champions of today. So it's kind of cool that I fought him back in the day, because now I get to stop by once in a while, meet the young guys, and hang out and see who the champions are today. So that's what got me going, was the martial arts and the kickboxing championships. I also boxed in London, England with Lennox Lewis, who you kind of look like. I almost thought I was getting interviewed here by Lennox Lewis.
Well, if I were Lennox Lewis, that'd be okay, because I still think Mike Tyson was #1.
Well, that was a good era. That was a good era. And, speaking of him, I might even get to be on his podcast one of these days, so that'd be cool, too. But anyway, to get back to me, since I'm the celebrity today, I think it was the kickboxing. Oh, and then I got into acting, because the kickboxing was going on in Los Angeles, and that's where Hollywood is for the acting, and they always needed kickboxers or boxers for some TV show or something else. I was on Days of Our Lives for maybe a month. A lot of martial art movies, of course. And really, that was good, because it got me a little notoriety. You know who I am now. You've seen some of my films, and I've got a bit of a cult following that who would have guessed in a million years would end up coming full circle to this day and age, where I'm done with all the action adventure stuff. But I now somehow ridiculously found out how to cure cancer on my crazy life, through Hollywood, because I was doing a play in Los Angeles, and I overheard one of the actresses say she cured herself of cancer. And I said, "No, you can't cure yourself of cancer. What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Yeah, UCLA Miracle doctors just said, most people don't make it a year or 2 years." And she was in 8 months had it cleaned out of her system completely. Because it turns out cervical cancer is really just a pathogen, the one they're trying to get you out of with that one
HPV.
Yeah, the HPV virus thing is all bollocks. I mean, all you got to do is do what she did. She got alkaline, because you don't die of cancer really, you die of acidosis.
Well, right. Is that pH balance thing? You got to be a 7.7% pH balance to actually have cancer not be supported in your biological system.
Well, the exact numbers are this. Okay, at 5 you're dead. You die. 4.5, sorry. 5, you know you have cancer. 6.3 is about average human being. What you want is 7.2 to 7.4, and cancer can't live. Otto Warburg figured that out a long time ago. A lot of the healing was doing really well until the Western medicine took over, the Rockefellers. You know, that was my main lesson with that whole documentary. Yeah, I knew the kickboxing, being a champion, and somewhat celebrity was going to help me with what I was going to do down the line. Which, as soon as I found out cancer was curable, that's really all that I gave a crap about, you know, because I was basically, it's one thing that did happen. I'll tell you the story.
Okay, go ahead.
I could have been really famous, okay? But I love women. I'm not, and I can't go the other way. I'm not even bi-curious. If I was, I'd be a very rich man today, but I couldn't take that deal. I was given that deal, Satan, right there, boom, there you go. Not no like one movie deal. We're talking, phew. But I just said, I patted him on the shoulder. I'll never forget, because I didn't know what to think. I'm young and kind of crazy. You know, some people could get knocked out for that. And I just tapped onto it, and I said, thank you, but no thank you. I'll do it on my own. And I walked away, man. A multi-million-dollar acting career gone. Just because I'm a heterosexual. You believe that?
Yeah, the casting couch. You know, why we got to do our own thing. I do independent media. You've done your independent stuff, and you know, we're truthers. We don't bend over for anybody. We're not knees for anybody.
Yeah.
So that's what makes us men. That's what makes us activists. That's what makes us heroes. That's what makes us everything that anybody else should want to be. We can't.
Yes. Absolutely, and that's what it did. I mean, I was just fuel for my fire and after a while, I didn't even care about Hollywood anyway. Once I realized who ran them and what's going on with that. I had no idea, you know, back in the 90s, it's like I'm late night HBO, cool, chicks see me, I think, you know. But then when I found out, I did my documentary, and I had to learn who the Rockefellers were, you know, and what the Illuminati was. And what 911 was, because since that's all connected. Next thing you know, I'm like, September 11th was an inside job. There's no way you could deny it. It's Building 7, the Pentagon, no plane, no bodies. I mean, so our generation, the people that were awake at that time saw that. And then I also learned through the cancer industry that was all BS, that the Rockefeller medicine, if you go back to the Flexner report, is basically when they got rid of the natural cures that were working fine and just said you can only use chemicals so we can patent it. Because that's what it's all about, is patenting so they can make money. And that's what this system, so when I finish IQ Cancer, the documentary, which is on YouTube, by the way, anybody wants to check it out.
And I've also re-released it underneath the True Pharmacy Productions. I'll put the link below in the show.
Nice. Yeah, the more that light gets out, the better. So I was sort of stuck at like this Rockefeller thing, the Rothschild thing, and all of a sudden, I thank God for YouTube, because I'm not a huge reader. I was more of a jock. But once if I can lay there and listen, my IQ's probably doubled thanks to YouTube. So I just listened to everything I could, from Sitchin's work all the way up to, you know, I think Gerald Clark's got the best grip on it right now. Matt LaCroix, guys like that, you know, the Rex Bear shows. I just listened for years on what's been going on. And I'm glad you're the Red Pill Show, so I can actually talk about it, and you don't call me a space cadet. Like some of my friends call me, and I've actually what I did when my friend did that, because it kind of hurt my feelings, I went and I opened up a group on Facebook called Space Cadet. So anybody else that believes in UFOs, please join Space Cadet on Facebook, and we'll share our stories. I've never, you know, seen one myself. I think I saw one that couldn't have done what it did, but nothing major, and I've not been abducted, but I've interviewed people that have, because again, my next film is called Space Cadet, and you can't hang with somebody for months on end. One guy I ended up living with for a while, still really good friends with this guy. He's 87 now, I think. His name's Dan. And he's been up on 2 ships. He's been up on the Zetas and on the Palladians. So I don't know if you...
That you actually bring this up, I got to look. The next celebrity that you're going to see on the show is, well, my my good friend Jimmy Roberts. He's a ufologist, very popular, very, very, very popular, and he's actually going to be my co-host for the next TV show we get started up. I can't tell you the name of the TV show, but that's coming up because Lord knows I have so many government and UFO secrets to tell.
Okay, great. So I don't even have to feel funny about talking about that on here. Nice.
No, hey, this is Red Pill hardcore. You talk about it if you want. This is the safe room.
I love it. I love it.
Well, before we get so far down the rabbit hole, I don't think you give yourself enough credit just because of what you've done. I want people to see what you've accomplished. The name. Can you list your martial arts movies and see?
Oh, okay.
No, people need to see you in action. For one, let's see how much of a badass you are. You were, probably still are.
It's coming back. It's coming back. I had a full hip replacement last January, and I am back, man. I can't tell you that's another story. You know, my life has done one of these a couple times, and I beat it all, the alcoholism, the depression, the suicide, everything, and came out the other side. To be the warrior I am today, like you say, I look good for 50, thank you. I don't feel 50 because basically as soon as I clean my act up in my early 40s, I've been almost, like the last few years, I'm almost vegan now. So I've really gotten in shape now. And if you watch anybody wants to go to my Facebook, you can tell I'm putting together a YouTube show called Train and Cure, because basically me and one of my best friends, Raul Rodriguez, who's he's one of them personal trainers to the stars, but got a lot of letters behind his name too. He helped rehab this hip and everything, and all we do is talk about this kind of stuff, red pill stuff. So I'm like, this might be a cool show, like 2 dudes like working out and shooting the breeze, like, because it started with Alex Jones like 5-6 years ago. That's all we would talk about while we worked out was Alex Jones and all those truths that were coming out. And we still do it to this day. And now we're getting high vibe, like we're trying to break down 5D, and we apply this stuff to our own lives too, you know? So it's an interesting, it'll be an interesting show, Train and Cure. I'm sorry, I never gave you the list of the movies, I don't think. Deathmatch is my favorite one. It's one I got to be the good guy and I got the girl. Expert Weapon, same thing, good guy, got the girl. Ring of Fire 2 with Don the Dragon Wilson, bad guy, still kind of got the girl. Got killed in that one though, wasn't as fun. What else? It's been so many years since I did these. I've lived like these different lives, this champion life and this actor life, and now this health coach, activist life. I was on Raven, a TV show called that, Days of Our Lives, if I said. I'm sorry, I can't remember them all right now, but you can just Google me. Google Ian Jacklin, kickboxing, martial art movies, and then, of course, now cancer, because I stumbled across How to Cure Cancer, doing a play in Los Angeles. And my friend taught me basically that you don't die of cancer, you die of acidosis. We didn't even know any of that back then. She just put it into play. She ate an alkaline diet. We didn't know what an alkaline diet was. This is the 90s, you know. So it all came full circle, and I made a documentary about how to cure cancer because of that one actress, Cynthia Brooks. You can look her up. She used to be on Days of Our Lives as well. And it's basically history from then on, because I was hoping to prove her wrong, because that would make, it's like right now my doctor's not looking too good, but I've always looked him in the eye and he seemed like a nice guy. He wasn't lying to me. But yet if my mom or anybody went to this guy right now, he would tell him chemo radiation surgery. After I just learned that's one of the worst things you could do, because after shooting this movie, I mean, this is a couple of years of interviewing a ton of people that cured themselves of cancer with holistic methods, and just hearing the horror stories about the chemo people. It just, I had to at least, basically I had no choice, because even when I was done the film and I put it out there, people are always like calling me saying, well, what's this Dr. Bernardo protocol and how do I do it? So I ended up I went from being an actor to a cancer coach without even noticing it, really. Just one day I'm like in Tijuana talking to the different clinics down there, and I guess my roles changed. I'd still do acting roles, and I probably will. You never know. Some of my friends could have a film and want to put me in, but I really, I was a superhero like you know, throwing that towel. You know, it didn't matter what color it was. If you had a towel,
I'm telling you. Well, it is talking. Well, before the show, a little pre-chat, I was telling Ian how I used to watch martial arts movies, especially seeing a couple of his movies. And as a little kid, I'd have my baby blanket tied around my neck like a superhero, doing kung fu moves around the living room, just like a hyperactive child that I was. I loved martial arts movies, and it was great. You fit a kid. And
yeah, well, same
part
here.
of my memories like that is, I mean, this is great.
Well, and it's playing out. Right, and it's playing out today, and we're still the superheroes. Now we're doing it on YouTube, trying to bring out the truth. So yeah, that cancer movie, man, it changed the game for me, because immediately I could have a impact. Because I got one of the things that got me going on that. It was ironic, because I was helping people cure themselves of cancer, but I was smoking 3 packs a day, drinking like a fish, just trying not to put a bullet in my brain. I was so depressed, man, going through this. That was from like 27. They say the return of Saturn. Your soul's been around the universe or whatever once, and you get it, and it's a rigged game, and some people just can't do it. And that's like why Jim Morrison and James Belushi's, the Janis Joplins, they say, that the Saturn return. And I was right there. I mean, I had the gun and everything, and something made me stay, because I knew it would hurt everybody else's feelings. I still had empathy even when I was at my worst. So I didn't, and it was good, although it was miserable. It didn't get better, right? It stayed miserable for many, many years, because my hip went out. I was a champion fighter. That was my persona. That was everything about me. And all of a sudden, I'm limping around everywhere I go, constant pain. Not enough booze, not enough pills, not enough anything would get rid of the pain. But after many years of meditation, a couple of rehabs, and just growing up, basically, I was able to finally. I've been sober for 8 years, something like that now. Don't even think about it. I do believe in cannabis, of course. That's a different protocol, especially for healing. And then there's all kinds. For those that don't like the THC, we got the CBD and everything. So what I do now, I
just partner up. We've also got another TV show called Cannabis Cooking with Chrissy D. She's a lady who does a lot of cooking. Well, she's doing a cook show, and we have a lot of growers interested, and it's all about the CBD oil and the medical applications.
Mm-hmm.
Actually have the largest medical marijuana movement behind us. I don't know if you've heard of CannaSense.
Maybe.
Well, these are sort of things that we're working on.
Did you say keto diet and cannabis?
The people that are backing us is CannaSense.
Right, CannaSense, right. But I thought you said something about your cooking show was about
CBD oil, cooking with CBD oil and other legal marijuana,
right?
products.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on this. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more. Say no more.
Like I said, it's an entire legal movement. People that are involved with CannaSense. I mean, the law does not mess with us. The local, state, or federal does not mess with us. We are a legal movement.
Right on. Yeah, that's the way to go. Cool. What was I saying?
Well, let me ask you. Did you get any? You've already walked away from the spoils, the corruption of life, and everything that you were involved in. You know, you could have sold your soul. You didn't. You know, you've done all those things, but which is Herculean. You know, anybody would want the millions, the girls, the whatever, but you have integrity and self-worth and these things. So, but as you put out this film that, you know, tells people how to fight cancer and it's possible, and all the witness testimonies, what kind of hell did you get for doing that?
I'm the king. I'm God. They can't touch me. I'm like David Icke, untouchable. We all are, though. You know, everybody needs to know that. That's all. I learned. I'm in a scene. Jesus Christ was in a scene. My Reverend Lynn, who I study with, she's in a scene, and I have shows up with her sometimes, so she can explain it better than I. But you know, Christ was the most famous scene, and you just know that you're on a vibration that. And the universal law is anyway, they can't, like, no soul can mess with you. You are God. Nothing can, you can call it in if you're feeling insecure and you need to learn some lessons. But if you're pretty solid within yourself, and I'm pretty solid, aside from my own accomplishments as a champion and all that, I've been meditating like Christ for 20-something years now. So I feel pretty solid. I understand the power of Mother Gaia. I'm constantly grounded to her. I bring in the energy, the love, the light from the heavens. So
that's what I call being in the zone.
Yeah, and I can understand that's like nobody.
Why can you talk about the things that you talk about? How have you exposed all this stuff? How are you still alive?
Yeah, I cure cancer. You're supposed to not say I cure cancer, but that, you know how I got that? It was innocently. Everything comes from I'm like a little boy still. I'm pure heart. And my friend said, "What name do you want for this?" Because he was picking out the .com names in the 90s. And I'm like, cure cancer. And he goes, that's been taken. Let's try I cure cancer. And it was there. So we got it. And boom, I went with it, not knowing that you're not really allowed to say that. But it ended up being the title of a movie. So for you know, whether it's fictional or non-fictional, don't matter. It's a title of an artistic piece. So I'm assuming that's why I never got messed with. But whatever, I mean, I'm just for the right. People know I'm right. You know, I call it like I see it. I can't do it any other way.
Well, I'm so glad to hear of a fellow truther, a fellow warrior that is just in the zone, doesn't worry about anything, just does what's right. And the universe is rewarding you for that. That's another thing about being in the zone. When you're doing the right thing, you've made countless sacrifices. I couldn't tell anyone of all the sacrifices I've made. I wouldn't even want to get any sort of praise or any sympathy or anything. I just focus on what I do, because I've done what I've done, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and everything's paying off. And you are another example of that. Again, I'd like to commend you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's important. We're like light workers, I think, in this day and age. They call us because light is just 411 information, and that's all this cancer movie was information. Because I thought it's unfair for them to they give us cancer with the dirty air, the dirty water, the dirty food, the GMOs, and then they don't even let us cure it on our own the way we want to. Like, they will let an adult, but if you're under 18, you're getting chemo, radiation, surgery, or your parents are going to jail, and you're going to foster home. That's why I'm making I Cure Cancer Part 2 right now, because after I finish showing the people that you can prevent cancer and then also cure it quite easily.
Well, you actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because you have, I want you to go ahead and let the world know how to get your material, because you have your book, and you're going to be doing this documentary. How can people get your book? I know you got a PDF, if not a hard cover.
Yeah. Actually, well, icurecancer.com is the name of the movie, but it's also the website. So, and you can also go to archangelstudios.org, just the way it sounds, archangelstudios.org. That's where I have some supplements and stuff, and coaching services as well. Yeah.
Wait, how old are you?
I just turned 50.
Okay, you being an athlete, martial artist previously, but then going through all the stuff, smoke 3 packs a day and alcohol and surgery, all the stuff. But now you're freaking baby smooth. You look great. You're selling supplements. So there's got to be something to what you're saying. Just
I think so. And you know what?
Buy some products, whatever. I don't get any kickback. You're not paying me to say this.
I tell everybody, go almost vegan.
I'm gonna look into it myself.
Yeah, I say everybody go almost vegan. You don't want to go totally vegan, because I have friends that have done that, and after a couple of years they start feeling a little run down. So you always want a little bit of salmon in there, not from the Pacific, nothing from the Pacific, all from the Atlantic or Northern. Some bison maybe, some dairy, as long as it's all organic, grass-fed, but almost vegan, in the sense that I'm vegan or vegetarian at least probably most of the week, once or twice a week. I'm like, I used to have meat 3 times a day, bacon in the morning, sandwich meat in lunch, and steak at dinner. Now I might have, like I said, a grass-fed steak once a month, and maybe, so it's up to you, figure it out. Some people are more meat eaters than others, but I used to think I kind of had an attitude thinking I'm a macho man, but I'll tell you what, I'm bigger, stronger, more ripped than I've ever been, just by going almost vegan these last 3 months. I'm shredded right now.
Well, I'm glad you're deciding to come out with this information now, because you're going to go on a bit of a tour. You're going to go on other shows. I'll work for you, and I would like for people to be able to follow you as you go along with this information. I'm not selfish. Hey, I'm grateful you guys are watching the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, but if he decides to go on Alex Jones, well, I guess he's not around anymore, or any other person's show, please go ahead and follow him. But if you want to let everyone know where you're going to be at so they can follow you, please go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, nothing's set in stone yet. I've been asked on the Mike Tyson podcast. One of my friends is sort of a friend, and they're going to see about that. But who knows? I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan, and he's if nothing else, the MMA stuff, and I always listen to him and Eddie Bravo talking about jiu-jitsu and stuff, because I got a blue belt in jiu-jitsu as well, and was a kickboxing champion. So, I mean, I'm manifesting this stuff now. Nothing's set in stone. And of course, one of my heroes has been Mike Adams from Natural News. He's one of the men that I've been following for decades, and basically sending out everything that he sends out. So there's a few people I'll be knocking on their doors that might remember who I am.
Well, I can tell you that Joe Rogan, his impressions of chimps, when he goes on a rant about chimps, I lose.
He's got some good comedy too. That Noah's Ark bit, forget about it. That's the greatest bit ever. Noah's Ark. I'm not that retarded.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Great stuff. Well, I think that about sums it up. People, find these movies, watch these movies, get re-enamored, because this is a very romantic thing, and I mean that in the most heterosexual way possible. Back when karate films were karate films, and just everything up until this point. the evolution of life, where you can start and where you can end up. You never know where life can take you, and you have a fascinating story, wonderful actors. I would love to have you back on the show again to promote anything you want to promote, and I think we might even have some other projects together here in the future. I've already asked you about, but nothing's set in stone. So
Yeah,
we have
I'm interested. Yeah, because we didn't even get to any of the Illuminati. Pardon my language. Any of the, you know, and I can get deep with that stuff because they're the ones that are running the world right now, and it's off planet too. That's like we think we got to deal with the Rothschilds. You know what the Rothschilds got to deal with? So we can talk more about that.
Well, if you're going to be chatting with me about stuff like that, let's just get the nomenclature right. I call them Illumitards.
Okay.
From
Illumidonkey, yeah, I like that.
These people are actually touched by the light, and they're a little bit illumitarded.
Yeah.
Well, once again, Ian, thank you for coming on to the show, and I'll be glad to have you again on any time.
Looking forward to it, man. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show, Celebrity Edition. And hey, tune in for the next one.